Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the cup where the tea is always piping hot. My name is Audrey, and I am so excited to cover this girls group challenge for RuPaul's Drag Race season 14. Yes.
That part, yes.
Yes, I'm so excited. Everyone else, introduce yourselves.
Look at you, you did it, by the way. Oh my goodness. Yes, queen.
We love a pro.
Yes. I'm Logan Murphy, just a gay. Here, I'm showing off my new mug that I got from work. You can't really see it, but it says, protect the planet, defend our coffee. And it's a cork bottom mug, and I'm like, I've always wanted one, and it was free, and I was like, yay.
Love that.
And I am Brandon. I'm busy, as you can tell.
Clearly
also,
very busy.
Also, just drinking water because hydration is important.
Same, I'm out of coffee. Y'all, this episode was simultaneously pretty great and also like, questionable.
It wasn't just kind of, it was just an episode. Nothing to write off about, I thought. But like, it's always nice to have Drag Race on TV, but it wasn't like, I'll forget about this episode come like 3 weeks from now. Very that.
I don't know if I will, mostly because we'll talk about the reading challenge, but also there was one team in this challenge that I thought like had one of the best performances of any Drag Race challenge ever, like in my opinion.
Damn.
But we'll talk about it because there's a lot to go on. We do start the episode, and Jasmine is walking back into the workroom. Or, no, who went home last episode? No one did. No one went home. I'm thinking that Maddie Morphosis just went home. My brain is all over the place. But no one got eliminated. Camden's walking back into the workroom after her lip sync win against Daya Betty. And I truly thought they were just going to give her this one time in the top and then never put her in the top again. But we'll talk about it. That was not the case. Yes. But yeah, Camden's super excited. Daya has finally gotten in the top, which is all she's ever wanted in her entire existence. And yeah, not much else happens. So I will bring up, as I always do, our gone but not forgotten Queen Cornbread. Because why not?
Yeah. How do y'all feel about the whole, like, because Daya is very in the team of she doesn't want to be safe, she wants to be in the top. But anytime, like, would y'all, like, how would y'all react to that kind of situation? Like, would you be, like, having a breakdown if you kept being safe? Or would you just be like, oh, I'm here for another week, thank God? Like, I have no idea how I would react to the situation. Because I'm, like, low-key competitive. I'm competitive, but I'm not because I'm always such a great competitor, so I always do well, and no matter what I do, so I'm like, I don't need to be competitive.
I was about to shade
the top, but
I was about to shade the hell out of you, but I'm not going to do that today.
minus one thing.
I was going to say the Penthouse season 4 says otherwise, but
in like
not
game
that
nights, in game nights, I'm always really well. Yeah. Penthouse that will not be spoken of. That was a different story. But yeah, how would y'all react, do you think? Because I keep going back and forth. Like, do I understand where they're coming from, or am I like, you need to just like chill?
Yeah.
Oh, is Audrey? I was like, is Audrey frozen?
No, I was just very still.
Okay. So I don't know. Like, I'm also back and forth. Like, I understand the heat at the moment in the competition. Just want to show that, but at the same time, like, you're in the competition. Be lucky you're there every single week. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it because, like, how Jan reacted in 12,
Mhm.
obviously. But at the same time, like, she wasn't as bitchy about it as like what is appearing as what
Mhm.
Daya is showing as
Right.
bitchy. Like, here's the thing. I don't think it's like it looks bitchy, but I don't think it's bitchy. That's
Totally.
how I see it.
She's doing bitchier things than complaining about being safe. Like, I'm gonna agree with both of y'all. I kind of go back and forth on it because I don't know how I would react in the pressure cooker that is Drag Race. I feel like I'd be happy to be safe, but I think it would also depend on where I thought myself compared to everybody else, where I thought
Mhm.
I landed. Because if I thought I was closer to the bottom and I'm safe, I'm gonna be like, oh, thank the Lord I'm safe. But if I thought I should have been in the top, maybe I would have been like, well, that sucks. But hey, it's another week. It's another opportunity for me to show a look on the runway. It's another opportunity to show my skill set on television. So, like, it's kind of a back and forth in that regard. I think I would kind of land on like more so that I'm happy to have another opportunity to show my
Mm.
skill set rather than, you know, complaining. But I feel like if I was safe like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, it would more be annoyance and like questioning what the judges aren't seeing rather
Totally.
than like being mad about it.
Because that's also like, at what point do you think some of these girls realize, like, I'm not winning? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point do you
Mhm.
think, like, they're sitting there and, like, okay, I really am just kind of a sitting duck at this point. Like, when is it
It's
going to be my turn?
It's so funny. I've only heard two queens talk about them before, and it was Trixie and Katya. And they talked about how they knew from the moment they walked in and saw everybody that they
Mhm.
weren't winning. Like both of them collectively were like, "We're not going to win this,
Yeah.
but like, let's do the best that we can." Um, you know, it's interesting. I think it also like a few episodes in, once you gauge like who the judge's favorite is, in this case Georges, but I feel like once you are able to gauge that a little bit, it might get a little bit easier, because like if I went in and I wasn't getting good critiques and I was like in the bottom consistently, I'd be like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna like have fun, do the best I can, and if I go home, oh well. Like if the judges aren't seeing me, they're not seeing me, and that's not gonna change.
Because the only thing that I have to relate it to is the show that shall not
Hmm.
be named. But
Hmm.
after a certain point, once I was in the bottom so much, I was like, okay, it's clear. Like, I just
Yeah.
need to like enjoy my time. And so it's just like such a out of body thing of being like, I really like, there's no chance, you know?
Hmm.
And so I just wonder how often that happens, because I feel like there's only a few scenarios when like there's someone like Ms. Cracker, who everyone for a long time did think that she was going to be in the top, but then she just like wasn't at the very
Hmm.
end. I think that's probably very rare. I think a lot of the other girls probably do have that thought process, but it's
Hmm.
just like that's something that just truly no one ever talks about. Also, real quick, just to throw in, I know it's not season 13 anymore, but I just watched a video with Candy Muse in it, and she was
Was it
talking
the
about
one with
how,
Trixie?
yeah, yeah, it was just
Yeah.
posted today. And so I was watching that, and she was saying how once she was in the final two, it was her and Simone. She was like hoping that she didn't like wasn't gonna win, because she was so concerned with how the reception
Yeah.
would be had she won. I was like, that sucks. Like, that's awful. I mean, I totally get that though, like having
Yeah.
that thought process. But like when she said that, I was like, damn, like that's brutal. But it's like, I think like stuff like that, it's like very like I love stuff like that when people are just so honest of like, honestly, I didn't want to win, you know, season 13 because of
Mhm.
how this would happen. I think it's just so honest and we love that. But just stuff like that where it's just like nobody ever talks about like that side of things.
Mhm.
But I really do wonder, because you have to think that most of them at this point who aren't Willow or who aren't Angeria are probably thinking like, okay, this probably isn't mine.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, because I feel like definitely if you're not Willow or Angie, you're kind of like, well, why? Like, let's just hope I make it far enough. And if you're not like Bosco, Camden, or Georges, kind of at this point, because they're the only ones. After this episode, they're the only ones left with wins, correct? I think. Yeah, because...
Well, who wins this episode? That's a new winner.
Yeah, there's only 2 people without a win now. I think. Yeah, there's only 2 people without a win. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, I always love seeing like the back end of like reality TV period. So I love seeing like the behind the scenes stuff. And obviously we won't hear anything really about that for another 7 years until someone's Drag Race contract is up.
Literally. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't have any much more to say about that, but all I can say is just like I agree. So it's just a lot to think about because like when it comes to like these reality TV type things, like what else can they bring to the table? Like for at a point of a competition where it's just like, okay, is this just for TV or is this like, do they really want to work hard in this? Because like that's how I see it now. Because I want to say I think after season 10. That's when I started seeing like a slow shift on like favorable queens rather than like an actual competition.
Yeah, I think the shift from reality competition show to reality show kind of really happened around like All Stars 4 season 11 where it kind of, for me at least, like I started seeing the production hand a little bit clearer. Like there's instances of it in the previous seasons, but that was the moment where I really like started to see it. More so All Stars 4 than 11.
Yes.
And then 12 was really where I saw it because I actually saw a theory the other day. That originally season 12 was set up for Miss Pie to win. And that the entire, like, there was this whole other storyline between Gigi and Miss Pie. Like, that was the story of the season. And so because of it, like, it didn't end up, like, obviously happening because she had to be completely edited out. But...
Which is so crazy to think about because, like, as an audience, we truly just have no way to gauge that. Obviously, she made it to finale. I mean, was supposed to make it to finale. But, like, we just, in that scenario specifically, we just have truly no way to gauge exactly how well that they were doing other than their multiple wins. But it's, like, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And the only insight into the edit is that first episode they're in, which still hasn't been re-edited, which I think is wild.
Well, wasn't it like people in the UK were getting completely different episodes?
It was only for one episode.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I did see a video of this as well, where they had a side-by-side comparison of the third episode of season 12. So they saw there was the more of the edit of Miss Pie, and then the other one was a lot of edit with Britta. So that was the huge comparison, which is very interesting to think about because I was just like, if had none of that come out, then it would have been like the narrative would have been so different. So
different.
Because I feel like they ended up relying a lot more on Britta until she got eliminated, and then Heidi until she got eliminated, and then Jada was kind of like the end of season, one of the end of season narrators. But yeah, anyway, episode 8, season 14, tangents. It's tangent city today.
Oh yeah.
We come back to the workroom. RuPaul comes in, and it is the good old reading challenge. And y'all, I have to say, this is, for me, one of the best reading challenges in years.
Totally.
I agree.
Totally. What were some of y'all's faves?
I am team Lady Camden in this reading challenge. I really thought that she was gonna win it, and you know that she was close when RuPaul was like, Lady Camden, like, you were so good too, like, giving her props. But it's just like, I think, at least as it was edited, Bosco was last, correct?
Yes.
And so I think probably a recency bias was probably had to do a big factor probably in why maybe Bosco got it over Ladycam did, but they both did really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this was a really solid reading challenge. Like everyone did well, exception for I think one queen. I'm trying to remember.
Jasmine didn't do too great.
Mm-hmm. Like
The
it was it was still like a good technical read, but it wasn't as like a read as like everything else.
Yeah.
Like still one of my favorites. I'm looking at the comments just to refresh my memory. Willow's comment to George's Serena Cha-Cha.
Serena Cha-Cha, and then, Georges, we know you're skinny and everything, and you need to eat. Unfortunately, Orion's ass isn't on the food pyramid. Died. Deceased. Jasmine's reads were cute, but like her read to Carrie, I just wish she had been like, clearly the dance skills skipped a generation or something like that. And then Daya's read pissed me off the most. Because all you needed to say to Jasmine was, Jasmine, is your style COVID-19? Clearly, there's a lack of taste. That's all you needed to say to make it funny.
Yeah.
I don't need this long, elaborate bullshit. But like, Bosco reading Jasmine was, for me, the best read of the night. You put the bottom in lobotomy. I'm sorry. Yes.
Who said the thing about, I think it was directed towards Willow, about, I don't remember what they related Willow to, but it was something like, I'm going to say Gremlin. It wasn't
Hunchback
Gremlin,
of
though.
Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Camden. It was Camden. Camden was like, you look like a dame. Blah, 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 dame. Hunchback of Notre Dame. And
yes, that was it. I thought that one took me out. I thought that one was so funny.
Who else had a good one? It was dumb and stupid, but I liked Deja's read to Carrie. What's something RuPaul hasn't said to you? Congratulations, you're the winner of the Six Maxi Challenge. Like, I thought that was cute.
Even though Deja hasn't won a challenge yet.
Exactly. I was like, I wanted Carrie to clap back and be like, you haven't either, bitch. Like... and then was it Jasmine that called Bosco a greaseball? I don't remember who it was. Oh God. Someone called Bosco a greaseball, and I was like, yeah, that seems about right.
That was another good one. Another good one was the cigarette to Camden.
Oh yeah.
Can you get this can we get the cigarette out of here? Died. And then
do y'all have favorite reads from like past seasons that have just really stuck with you?
Roxy Andrews. I think about you all the time, especially in the morning at the bus stop.
I think that one, and then also I think it was Alaska to Adore was like, they always say like you have terrible makeup skills, and you're dumb as rocks. Yeah, and then she was like, but that's not true. You don't have terrible makeup skills. I was like, oh my God,
my favorite read of all time, and it's forgotten, is actually Jocelyn Fox. And it was like, I'm.
Is it the reverse cowgirl one?
Yes. Darien Lake is the only girl that will sit backwards on a toilet just so she has a flat surface to eat off of.
Oh my God.
So good.
So good.
Oh, and then Bianca to Adore. I know what you got on your SATs. Ketchup. It's like one of my absolute favorites. Oh, I'm trying to think now.
Season 6 like cements me like, of course, like one of the best reads in my opinion, because like season 6 will forever be my favorite season. And also just like I watched that video so many times. I just have Darian's read to Adore. I'm going to say
this very slowly so you can
understand.
Just so
you're
funny.
dumb. And then another super underrated one for me is BB on All Stars 3. Told you so. Mother, she looks homeless. I don't know why. But that just, and then looking at Kennedy Davenport, she looks like a child you could sponsor for just 20 cents a day or something like that. I was like, BB. Oh, and then All Stars 3 again, because I think they had a really good one. It was Trixie to Milk. She's like, we can see how much effort you put into your look. 2%.
Oh my god.
Yep. That was another one. That was another good one for me.
Oh my god. And then was it Trixie reading Aja? It was oh yeah, Trixie reading Aja. You're perfect, you're gorgeous, you look like Seal.
That was another good one.
God.
Oh my god. Yes.
This season in general, like it really brought like
it was
reading
good.
like back to what we needed, because we remember how they said that they had a reading challenge for season 12, but it was so bad they didn't air it, so they made up for it at the reunion instead.
Literally.
Which I was like, okay.
One of the other 14 reads that I will say I really, really liked was Deja reading Angie. Your name is longer than a CVS receipt.
Yes, that was also one of my favorites.
Good too.
Period. But yes, Bosco wins the mini challenge with Camden as a very close second. I think that was justified. I think for me, honestly, my third probably would have been Deja. I thought Deja did pretty good. Who else? I thought Willow did pretty good with the read to Georges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we move on to the Maxi challenge. And it is the girl groups challenge, but it is a 60s girl group challenge. I loved this. I thought this was so different to any other girl group that they've done. I appreciated that they were doing something different with a classic Drag Race challenge. Because they don't typically do girl groups on the US version.
No.
It's typically saved for the international, and it's like a mainstay in all of the international franchises at this point. I think except for Holland.
I feel like girl groups are more international, just period. Like, do we have a lot of girl groups in the US?
Well, we had Fifth Harmony, but that's not anymore. We had Little Mix is British, so I
feel like it's a lot more prevalent. I think we're like a solo country. There are sometimes boy bands, but I think overall we're just a solo nation.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so there are 3 different groups. We have the Shangri-Las, the Roonettes, and the RuPreams. I'm like, of course, everything has to be a RuPaul pun. And the queens get to pick their own teams. Now, here we go. Because everyone, for the most part, is like, oh, I want this group. Oh, I want this group. And like the RuPreams end up coming together very organically. And Jasmine is the only one originally that wants to be in the Roonettes. And then Georges is like, you know what, girl? I'll come over here with you. And then it is a showdown between Bosco, Daya, Willow, and Deja trying to get into the Shangri-Las for the song Bad Baby. And Daya Betty is just doing the most.
Puts her foot down for sure.
Like, and then Willow to an extent too was like, I want this. I haven't been very vocal in things in the past. I want this. Thank you.
Do y'all think you guys would say like very I'm having this part, or would you guys be like, oh no, it's cool, whatever works?
That depends.
I agreed.
Because if it's situational, I would definitely want to like say like if it's a situational thing. Like I remember there was a project that I had to do. Like it cut close to like a very important trip I had. So I was just like, if I could possibly get one early, then that's okay. Yeah. But there was no way for me to get like a later project because of an important trip. So that's why I was just like, okay, this is what I would prefer. But if it's like something that's like I'm more open with, I'll be like, okay, I'll like take this. So like I would have been in Georges' shoes where it'd be like, I'll do this with you since you're the only one that's doing this.
I think in this case it would depend on if I thought the other song was good.
Mm.
Because if I thought this other song was trash, I'm not stepping anywhere near it. I'm putting my foot down. I don't care. But like, if I didn't hate, I don't even remember what the Roonettes song was called. I'm going to be honest. It's not that memorable in my personal opinion. But if I thought I would be able to do well in the Roonettes, then I'd be like, and with the people that I was with, I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe, sure. But otherwise, I'd be like, no, absolutely not. I'm staying here.
Yeah, I think it would come down to when it comes to a group challenge, it would come down for me. I would not necessarily fight for the song, but fight for like who I'm going to work with.
Totally.
I think is more what would be my deciding factor.
Totally. But yeah, so we end up with the Rupremes with Angie, Carrie, and Lady Camden. We have the Roonettes with Jasmine, Georges, and Deja, who finally is like, you know what, I'll take one for the team, whatever, and moves over to the Roonettes. And we have the Shangri-Las with Bosco, Daya, and Willow. We get a little bit of like their verse creation and then the subsequent recording of the track with Michelle Visage of Seduction fame, of course. And, you know, I was worried about the Shangri-Las at first because they were like, we're going to go in a direction. And I was unsure of that direction at first. We also see Carrie struggling a bit. We see Georgia struggling a bit in the workroom stuff. We see Jasmine struggling a little bit. And Deja is just like, what did I do? Why did I put myself in this group?
I feel like these challenges would be so hard because we even see like with Georges during the recording process, eventually they're like, well, let's just talk it out. Like, but honestly, I think like talking during songs is such a serve. Like very Alaska the tea. Like I love. And so honestly, I feel like I would go more towards that and just do that strongly because I'm like I'm not a singer. Like I could definitely try, but I feel like the second that I get in my head of like, oh my god, like I can't sing, like why do you have to sing? You know, they have the option to just like if you say it real cool and make it sound really I don't know. I always try to think like how would I approach this challenge? I think I would talk.
Totally.
I don't think I would sing.
So here's my difficulty with that in relation to what happens in this episode, because Georges and Jasmine were struggling equally. Why was Jasmine not able to talk, sing her part, but Georges was? That's where I got pissed. Because I was like, only Georges is being given this special treatment, and nobody else is. Because very clearly...
From what we see, though...
Yes, but we've also seen this special treatment of Georges. Like, Georges is the one that has been picked as the person to get special treatment on this season because they're trying to push Georges to the top. And I can't unsee it because I see through the reality TV editing at this point. Because, honest to God, she should have been in the bottom this week. She should have been in the bottom last week. She should have been in the bottom the week before. The episode she won, she shouldn't have won. And it's like, I like Georges. I have nothing against Georges as a person and as a drag queen.
Totally.
I have a problem with Georges, the character, on this reality TV show, because this is the point now where Georges is being pushed to the point that other people are starting to catch on to it watching the show. And now it's at the point where it's like, okay, how much longer are they going to push the Georges narrative before they just have to get rid of Georges, or they somehow shimmy her into the top 5?
So what you're saying is Georges has the golden ticket in her chocolate bar.
I would not be surprised.
Absolutely
would not be surprised.
I'm trying to think, who else would they give that to? I feel
Angie,
like it really would.
Willow, in case.
But I don't think that they would be in the bottom. I don't think that Willow or Angeria would be in a place where they...
Well, the thing is, with the chocolate bar of it all, oops, I'm going to accidentally switch this not intentionally with a golden bar. Like, we all know this is just a ploy to save whoever production wants to save if worst case scenario happens.
Totally. You know,
Like,
it's so it's very that when Alaska on Race
oh yeah,
Chaser, she was like, because Alaska's very, of course, rah drag race, like very
yep,
still like speaks so highly of it. And even when
of
Alaska's
course,
like, come on, y'all, like we know what's going on here. We know that they don't keep the chocolate bars. They're gonna
yeah,
put whoever they want, give them the gold
yeah.
ticket. Oh, so funny.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, y'all have got to be kidding. Like, what is this? What is this nonsense? What is this foolishness?
I have a theory for next week, but I'm gonna save it for the end because
Ooh.
of how things are going. I want to save it. I want to save it for the
Ooh.
end. Although it is, I want to. It's kind of important to bring up at this point, but the reason why I want to bring it up at the end is why, like,
Sure.
what's going to be next week. So
Sure.
yeah.
Totally.
We'll talk about all of our conspiracy theories at the end again. But yeah, it's just like and again, I want to say I love Georges. Don't send hate to Georges. Don't send hate to anyone except for RuPaul. Because fracking.
Very that. Very that.
Very that. But yeah, I didn't point out anything else specifically like important in the production of the song or really in like the choreo moments that they have other than everyone realizing that Willow can dance.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
love her. Love. I
Love
love Willow
that.
so much. Like honestly,
yeah.
like I stand so hard.
Like
Yeah.
again, at this point of the show, like everyone is doing so well, like in a sense, and it's just like it is so hard to like pick who's gonna like go next until you see the challenge,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is like it's so hard to see that now because like we're seeing a more competitive side of this, but at the same time rigging. So
100.
it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll see how this goes until like once we see the challenge. Like,
Yeah.
because of course we see like
Mhm.
them struggling in like beforehand, and then you see in the
Mhm.
challenge, they're just like, oh, they actually did all right. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it's
Totally.
yeah, it's unfortunate that it's kind of moved beyond reality competition for me and it's more just reality show. But I'm still gonna watch because at least the international franchises seem like they don't do that anymore. So I can stick through 2 seasons or one season because All Stars they get to pick who goes home. So it's like not even like
Oh, yeah.
it's more difficult to rig it, though it is still possible.
Have y'all seen, I forget who posted this on Twitter. I don't know if it's like something that went around a lot, but it was someone who was like, this is what they need to do to change All Stars rules of instead of the person sending someone home, the person who wins the challenge saves someone else. And so then
That's
you still get the like drama of like who are they going to save? But I was like, how have they not thought about that before? Like that's a great idea.
so I've been championing this like format for years now, even
Mhm.
on like on any sort of like spin-off series because I think it would be better like honestly have a winner put
Mhm.
a bottom 3 together and the winner of the challenge saves someone from the lip sync and the other 2 lip sync. Like
Yeah.
that's really what it should be
It'd be
because
so good.
100% because then I really feel like alliances would start to form and it would
Yes.
be
Oh
a
my god,
lot
yeah.
more competitive and interesting. I don't, on a separate tangent, I don't dislike the lip sync assassin format now because it's giving girls that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to come back on Drag Race, i.e.,
Mhm.
Laganja Estranja, because she's never coming back to compete.
Totally.
We know she's never coming back. Alyssa Edwards, probably never going to come back again. She did her 2 times. She's moved on, but bring her back as a lip sync assassin, which is exactly what they did. And also to test out girls that maybe they want to see on All Stars, i.e., a Jessica Wilde. Because let's be honest here, Jessica Wilde lip synced once on season 2 and lost. So, but yeah, I prefer the lip sync assassin format, which also is what I think if they don't adopt the winner pick someone out of the bottom format, that's what I want to see for the versus the world
Oh my
format of it
god, right.
all. International lip sync assassins, excuse me.
iconic. It'd be
Vanity
so good.
Milan can just do all of them and win. Like, honestly.
Taste could.
Taste could name a black queen from Drag Race UK, because there's only 4 of them, and you could bring any one of the 4 of them and they would win.
Just so good. Oh, love Taste. Oh my god. I'm like thinking back, damn, just so
Taste.
good.
Yes. So it's elimination day in the workroom, and we get, I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil it. We get Carrie's emotional story arc before she goes home. The writing was on the wall for me. I see through the editing. Yeah. But I did, regardless of editing or whatever, I really appreciate that we had this conversation. Because Carrie talks about, you know, her upbringing, her very, very religious parents. I don't want to bring up anything else because I honestly don't remember what was talked about on the show and what was talked about in her in her What You Packin'. And I don't remember which was which, because
so how that conversation was brought up is they asked what girl groups they listened to growing up.
Thank you.
So of course a lot of people were saying Spice Girls, Danny Kane, and Vogue. And then of course Carrie couldn't say any of that because growing up, if they heard any of those artists, it would have been a big no-no.
Yeah.
So that's been that was like how it was brought up, because if they heard any of those type of music, it was just like, yeah, no, this would she would have been, oh.
Yeah. Well, and I remember the quote that Carrie says in Confessional. She's like, if you see me in the club and a Lil' Kim song comes on, I'm going to be bopping my head in the corner, but I'm not going to know any of the lyrics because I wasn't able to listen to it. And that felt so, like, that resonated with me somehow. Not that I was, like, a sheltered child by any means, but, like, well, kind of. I wasn't, like, to the extent that Carrie was, but I was definitely, like, a sheltered child, in that a lot of the pop culture references, like, of our generation, because we're all basically the same age, of our generation, I learned when I got to college. Like, I had a feeler of things, but all the pop culture knowledge that I have really started when I went to college. Because I just didn't know a whole lot of it, but so I could resonate with Carrie in that regard. But yeah, this was a lovely conversation to happen. Also, if you have not watched the What You Packin' for this week, please do, because I cried. It's incredibly emotional. So
really, see, I never watched What You Packin' because I just, it's the one thing that I'm like, we'll put that to the side. But okay,
honestly, all of the ones this season have been really good.
Really good.
I agree. What You Packin' has much improved. I'll say, because like it brings the more personal side that we want, like that wasn't in the show, which I really appreciated. So, and of course with the whole YouTube arc with things, like again, I wish Untucked was back on YouTube. I really wish.
I do and I don't. But just give them 2 rooms. That's all I'm asking. Like, create fake manufactured drama for no reason. And like Candy Muse kind of did that last season. So like whatever. Yeah, it's a lot. Also, I love at the end of videos. I don't know why Simone isn't the one at the end of the What You Packin' videos, because she now has her winner outro for Drag Race videos. But I love Michelle Visage's outro because it's like, hey, it's Michelle Visage. Do you like gay shit? Then go over to the RuPaul's Drag Race YouTube channel and subscribe. And I'm like, every time it gets me. It's know it's coming.
Straight to the point.
And every time it gets me, and I love Michelle Visage.
You know what that energy reminds me of? Like that energy.
Huh?
It reminds me of hi gay.
Hi gay. Hi bald. Delete it bald.
Like, it's just funny to me because, like, you like gay shit. I'm just like, it just gives me that energy. It's just like, I love it.
You like gay shit? Like, it does give very Trixie energy. It really does. Like, Okay, do we want to talk about the challenge first or the runway first? Because the challenge happens first.
Let's do the
Let's do
challenge first.
yeah, challenge first.
Okay, so we start with the Shangri-La's Bad Baby, and I have to say, this is one of the single best group challenge performances in Drag Race history. I'm definitively saying that. This was a masterpiece, and they took the exact risk that they needed to, and I loved every moment of this song from Bosco, Betty, and Willow.
Maybe I should rewatch it then, because whenever I
Yeah.
was watching it, I don't know, there was just something in it that maybe it was just so it was very clean, it was very good, but there was just something missing for me that made me want to engage in it, if that makes sense. It's very much I can tell that it was done very well, but it just wasn't something that I haven't rewatched it since. It hasn't made me want to re-listen to it since.
Okay.
And if anything, I am a Willow stan. Love
Yeah.
Willow. But there was just I don't know, I wasn't seeing personality from Willow that I feel like we usually get. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I did not love the first group.
That's so strange to me because it's for me it's this classic 60s song talking about a stalker who gets hit by a bus. It just
Maybe it was just too perfect. Do y'all remember that and I don't know that I agree with this back from season 11 whenever they put Brooklyn in the bottom leading up to the final four because she was too perfect in the final four challenge. Maybe it was that vibe, but for real this time, it just it was so good that it was just nothing. And I think maybe you just go in expecting that from Willow and Bosco, and Daya too. Daya does perform well, and so maybe I just was it's what I expected, so it wasn't oh my god, this very that. I feel like it was very that.
Now that you bring that up, because yes, that group did really well. That was my favorite. I agree with Logan, but at the same time, I remember thinking back because I did rewatch it because fun fact, Wow Presents on YouTube actually uploaded the song separately.
Oh, there we go.
So I was able to rewatch that, and it Willow seemed stiff.
Willow definitely I will agree the energy was weird.
Mm-hmm. So of course I wasn't mad about it, but she did look
totally
stiff. So I was just huh.
It looked like she was overthinking everything, which it very well could have been. But I just love the deadpan. I also am a big fan of deadpan black comedy or dark comedy. Whatever the term is, I forget.
Yeah, dark comedy, yes.
And also comedy done by black people. Yes, I love that too. But it was this beautiful 60s song about bad baby. Yeah, it's that, but then they're talking about this man stalking them and then he gets hit by a bus. And then it's Willow's line of being it's really sad. But then Daya being but wait, it's kind of hot. And then Bosco being he looks like a dropped bowl of spaghetti. I was are you kidding me? What is happening? And I loved every moment of it. I understand the critiques that both of y'all had for sure. But for me, this just it was so perfect.
Oh, I'm not bagging on the whole
it was a good performance.
The songwriting performance, it was amazing. I loved it. It's just I guess the presentation wise.
Sure.
That's how I saw it as. But
No,
overall, it was like you said, it was one of my all-time favorite performances ever. Because all of them collectively did well, so I was happy about that. So, yeah.
And totally. Audrey's just I need to go rewatch this now, apparently.
No, for real. I'm because I remember watching it, and I was just okay, but again, for me, the song, because y'all are going through the lyrics they said. For me, just in general, music, they could be saying anything. I rely heavily on like the backtrack and like the beat. Like that is what I listen to first and foremost. Like it takes me so long to memorize lyrics of anything because I just love the beats of songs, right? And so maybe that was my thing. I just didn't like really any of the beats of the songs weren't anything that I personally go back and I'm like, oh yeah, like let's listen to 60s music. Like that's just not my vibe.
No, that's understandable.
So maybe that's what it was for me.
Because I will say the other two groups didn't have like spectacularly amazing lyrics. This was the only song where I actually like remembered some of the lyrics and like they like stuck with me. Because we move on to the Roonettes. And this I just felt like, honestly, from the performances, it felt like, for me at least, there was a very clear top group, there was a very clear bottom group, and there was a very clear safe group. And this was the bottom group.
Really? Yeah. I really must have to go rewatch this because I remember watching them and I was like, wow, they're so fun. Like, this is great. But I just was so concerned. I'm very the person, like, whenever I get nervous that someone's going to do poorly, like if they do one thing really well, I'm like, oh, thank God, they're killing it. Like they're doing so good. So maybe that's where I was at. But I remember, except I did watch one thing, maybe it was Pit Stop, and they were like, they weren't wearing earrings. And then when I went back and saw that, I was like, wait, they really weren't. And like I didn't notice that watching it, but once it's like pointed out, it's like, wow, earrings really would have made that go further. But I thought it was good.
Watching the Pit Stop with Monet this season has been so insightful.
So good.
Like honestly, I love Monet as a host. Not that I dislike Bob or Katya, or not Katya. Katya hasn't done it. Trixie or like any of the other people doing it. Katya was on this episode, which is why I was like, I have Katya on the brain always. No, this one, it felt like you could see Georges was in her head, Jasmine was in her head. I thought Deja was doing perfectly fine. It almost looked like they were marking their movements. Like it felt like Jasmine and Georges were kind of at like 75% doing this. Whereas Deja, I felt like was at maybe like 80, 85. And they were all like, yeah, just like, it felt very like going through the motions is kind of how I felt about it. And yeah, none of their lyrics, I literally can't remember any of the lyrics other than Georges talking her whole thing, which I thought was like, why was she given the opportunity to do this and nobody else? Because there were other people struggling in the challenge.
Maybe I just really liked their outfit because I just remember watching it and being like, wow, they're killing it. And then y'all are both like, no, it was bad. It was the clear
everyone's
bottom.
outfit in this challenge was amazing.
It was so good.
Like the fact that those were made for them, like thinking about this, because all these outfits were made for them. So I was like, they were probably like measured and fitted, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't love the red group's looks. I don't know. It feels so weird to be so completely opposite from someone because that normally doesn't happen in these for me. But Audrey and I are so completely opposite today. I don't get it. Well, have you been on for Drag Race yet this season at all?
I think so. I think I was on a few episodes ago for 14.
I don't even remember. It's been like, that's how busy it's been. And it's nothing against you because you're beautiful and amazing, but like, just like life. Anyway, literally the quote of the year, life. But no, I hated these outfits. I hated the beehives. The only person that looked good in the beehive, for me, the only person that looked good in the beehive was Deja. They weren't wearing earrings, which threw me off. Like, it just, like, this whole thing just felt off for me. And I was like, this is very clearly the bottom group. And I don't understand why we're getting positive critiques for one person. And, like, Georges was safe. I'm going to just say it. I don't know why Georges was safe. Actually, I do. It's because production is rigging this in Georges' favor.
Not the rigging it.
Oh, 100% it is. And I'm fully accepting it. I'm like, it's whatever. I like Georges enough that, like, you know what? We'll see what happens.
Totally.
And then we get the third group. And the third group is the RuPreams. I thought, okay, so Angie very clearly kills it.
Totally.
Like, I thought this was just a very safe group because I thought Angie did a perfectly lovely job. And like, if there was, for me, if there was going to be someone else in the top other than the Shangri-Las, it would have been Angie. She would have been the only person I would have considered.
Totally.
And then I thought Camden did a really good job. Like her makeup was a little weird, but I thought like overall, like she was doing well with like the choreo. And y'all, I thought Carrie did a good job. Like,
it's very the Alyssa Hunter of it all, of like Alyssa Hunter, maybe that's the week I was on. Alyssa Hunter like actually went for it. Like, was she like the best? Maybe not in her challenge, but Alyssa Hunter, whenever she was on, or her elimination episode, she at least like went for it. And I feel like Carrie also did that. Like, Carrie embodied like a very specific character, but then they didn't like the character she embodied, and so that's why she was in the bottom.
And I guess it also comes down to like personification of the group that you're like doing, because obviously it's like the Shangri-Las, the Roonettes, and the Supremes. And I feel like honestly Rue was a little harsher on the Rupremes because of how much he loves Diana Ross. And I'm like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Very.
Because, like, if you're basing it on your interpretation, like, okay, let's all be honest here. Did any of us know any of these groups other than the Supremes?
Other than Diana Ross. It's like...
Well, so I grew up listening to the Roonettes because it's one of my mom's favorites. So like I did, but that's because I have a very specific reference to it. Mm-hmm. If these girls had no clue how to embody a Supreme, how to embody a Roonette, how to embody a Shangri-La, whatever the group was, like if that's such a specific criteria to this challenge, then give them the necessary materials to figure that out. Let them watch videos. And I don't know, they very well might have, and we're just missing it. But it's like, with all these challenges where you have to embody like a famous person, like I look at the West End Wendy's that just happened on UK versus the World. And it's like, they were so specific with Janie Jacquet embodying Meryl Streep, but then got onto Jujubee for not specifically embodying Liza Minnelli, even though the character was not based on Liza Minnelli, it was based on a character from Cabaret. Anyway, I get mad when they when they rig it. I'm just gonna fucking say it. When they rig it and come up with reasons to put people in the bottom. Because
I just think that their references need to skew to the... I think they need to start having their references skew to the audience. Maybe that's...
But they're not, because RuPaul only listens to the same 5 things. And so if you don't make a reference to something RuPaul knows, you're going to be in the bottom. I think of Crystal Method doing Poppy on Snatch Game on season 12. I thought, me having context for who Poppy is and what Poppy does, I thought Crystal did a great job. But because RuPaul doesn't know who Poppy is, she's in the bottom. And because Carrie Colby did not perfectly embody Diana Ross, she's in the bottom. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, I don't... Clearly, you can tell I haven't smoked any weed today. Because that's why I'm like... I'm more passionate than I am, and I'm angrier than I usually am. But god damn it, Carrie Colby did not deserve to go home on this challenge.
I agree. Like, I thought, again, I agree. Like, Carrie did fine in my opinion. Like if you said, if the criteria was to like try to embody Diana Ross, I'm just like, okay, like say that then
give them the context of that.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. And like, even though they did, like, Carrie did say like, yes, this could be added pressure because this is RuPaul's favorite group. Like, she even acknowledged that.
Okay, then don't skew things improperly when your favorite group is a part of this challenge. There are other 60s girl groups you could have chosen. That's all I'm saying. Clearly, I need some weed. God help me. Just...
Or vodka?
Oh my god.
Vodka.
Honestly, I need some vodka right now. I need some wine right now. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go get some wine. Lord help us all. Yeah, okay, that was the challenge. Runway time.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab some wine. I think I deserve it. So while I do that, category is heart on. Y'all talk about Willow Pill.
Okay, this was interesting. Like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I spoke about this a little bit before we like went live, and it's very much like I would say Willow's outfit is one of the ones that I prefer from this runway. Like this runway was a big miss for me overall, I would say. But Willow's I at least enjoyed the concept. There was just I don't know, just something that and I of course like I don't know what I would do differently here, but it just didn't I don't know. And I think I mentioned this earlier too before we went live that I think based on her look last week just being so incredible that I think anything following last week, it would have been hard for her to like match how cool it was. So I think maybe that's what I'm feeling with this one. But
Oh, I understand that. Last
definitely
week, like her runway last week was amazing.
just
So
so
like
good.
I was like I had a soft spot for it obviously, and I was like and like you said, conceptually this was I get where she was going, but overall like I guess like the execution wasn't like there for me. So
And even her photos with have you seen her photos with Denali for this look?
yes,
Everything.
yes, I
Even
love
that
it.
just made it like next level for me. So I was like, okay, maybe I don't like, maybe I like it more than I thought I did originally once all the pictures were together. Because those pictures were so
So I
good.
didn't hear what y'all said. Do we like this? Do y'all like this?
For this runway this week, we like it.
Yeah, like
See, yeah.
concept
Okay.
wise it was fine, but
Mhm.
execution meh.
I
Mhm.
actually so
Yeah.
this is funny enough, this is actually my favorite look on the runway this week because most of them were pretty generic. But with that being said, I thought the ingenuity to think of something like this was
Mhm.
phenomenal. I think the
Totally.
execution was at like 80%. I honestly wish it stopped at the knee. Or what maybe would have been stupider is make a fishtail gown out of thongs.
That would have been cute. Yeah, no, I
And
see
then like
that.
you
That
have
would have
it to
been
like
great.
you have it to like the lace part at the knee, and then it flares out and becomes just like a trumpet skirt of thongs. Like
So good.
I don't know how much like ingenuity and like sewing that would take,
Mm,
but like I would like to see it.
yeah.
Because my biggest issue was just she couldn't walk in it.
Oh, see, I didn't even think about that side of things. I didn't notice her walk, I guess I should say, but I do
I
love I love the wig though. I will say also.
I think the walk though was intentional of the way that she was
Mhm.
supposed to. So
Well, I think she even mentions it in her talking head where she's like, I can barely walk in this, but I still love it.
yeah, that
Yeah. Also, I'm loving this Portuguese rosé that my roommate bought.
There we
So
go.
thank you, roommate. Yeah, it's a good time. But yeah, this is my favorite look of the week because most of the other
Mhm.
looks are not great.
Yeah.
Next is Daya Betty. I really like this actually.
I actually do like this.
And apparently it's opposite day for me and Audrey.
I don't love it. And again, it's like it's not that it's like it's not I mean, I don't know construction wise of outfits. It doesn't look like it's constructed poorly, obviously. Like it's
Mhm.
definitely like a put together outfit. I don't know. Maybe it's like the green behind the heart
I
on
think
the
it could be the
chest.
green, yeah.
I think that's what's throwing me off. Like maybe if that was a different color, I will say I do like the shaved head thing on the
Yes.
side. Like I think that part is cool. But yeah, maybe it's the green. I don't like that part. I don't love this.
I honestly, I do kind of wish that the green was a different color, but I do
Mhm.
appreciate someone doing a different color palette other than white, pink, and red.
Maybe if it was like light blue or something, maybe that would be
Ooh.
cute.
So I had an idea for this runway, side note. Speaking of like hearts on her shoulders, I don't know how difficult this would be to construct, but if I were to do this runway, I would come out in a cage that's just a heart, like a full like cage constructed thing that's a heart, and then I break open the heart, and then somehow mechanically the two halves of the heart become peplums for this like gown situation. And so I would have gone to like this heartbreak situation of like it's like a black maybe it's a black heart. I don't know. I had like an idea and I didn't really think it all the way through, but I would have gone like heartbreak. Because the category doesn't necessarily call that it has to be like a full heart. So I would have done like, or it's a reveal into like a peplum situation. I don't know. I wanted peplums and I wanted a cage with a heart. That's all I want.
I see where you're going at. Like, I agree. Like, to me, this is the Daya Betty we were looking for. Like, because this is what.
But you know who she looks like, right?
I know, but like the thing is, that's what they've been trying to allude to because they always compare it to her. This is the punk of Daya Betty that we know that this is Daya Betty. So I like it.
I took it a different way. I think she looks like Crystal Method here.
Really?
I do, especially in the makeup and the lips. Specifically, I think she looks like Crystal Method, but I don't hate it.
Okay. I didn't see it that way.
I was gonna say, if anything, I think this is the most like Crystal Method she's looked all season.
That's so strange. Wow, okay.
Like, I think that there have been a lot of weeks where it's like, wow, she's really in Crystal's family. But this week, I'm like, literally exactly the opposite of what you said. Like, I think the lips are different. I think the eyes are different. Like, if anything, this is the most non-Crystal I think that she's looked.
Clearly, Aud and I are just not going to agree on anything tonight. And honestly, I'm here for it.
Just not at all.
Is this a new narrative that we're seeing?
Yes, this is the new narrative. It's we're officially fighting.
Our enemy origin story. Our enemy origin.
Oh my god, yes. And then when I come to Texas, I just drop kick you. And that's how it ends.
Could you imagine?
I will. Don't tempt me, I will. No, anyway. Bosco. I didn't show it in this photo, but she has her entire flat ass out.
I liked this look. I would say this was probably one of my more favorite looks from the thing. It's just very clean. It's not, recreating the wheel or anything, but I liked it.
Yeah, this was good for me. Like, one of the better looks on the runway, like for this week. I mean, like, I loved like the whole like full white and then just holding a heart.
Yes.
So,
and it is brave to wear white in drag.
It
is brave. I guess my enemy origin story with Aud is over because I also like this look. It's over just as quickly as it began.
There we go. We finally agree.
Yes. No, this was my second favorite look of the week, actually.
There we go.
I thought this was incredibly solid. It's very Bosco. Like y'all said, it's not reinventing the wheel in any way, shape, or form. We've seen Detox do this 5,000 times. But, like, I really liked it. It was clean. It was put together. Her makeup is incredible.
And you don't always
have
to recreate the wheel. Sometimes, I mean, these girls are coming in with, sometimes, I mean, obviously a lot of them now come in with like really killer looks, Bosco included, but it's like, if this is her like cleanest, like not most like non-reinventing the wheel look, then she's doing something right. Like, I think this looks really cool.
And even RuPaul this season has been like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's fine as is.
Exactly.
In that exact tempo of voice. But yeah, no, I thought this was really good from Bosco. Perfectly solid. Next up, oh boy, is Deja Skye. I actually like this. I know it's costumey. I know it's cosplay adjacent. It's basically cosplay. But I think she looks really good.
I really liked the shoulder things. I thought those were cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Because this again isn't recreating the wheel either.
No.
But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like this one as much, but I also didn't hate it as much as I feel like maybe the judges did.
I
don't
like
know.
it for Deja.
It's just kind of a non-entity. Like, it's not something that I'll remember in a
Mhm.
week to come. Like, it's just, it was a fine look on the runway, but it's not memorable for me. So,
Sure.
I mean, I like this look for Deja as well. Like, I think my bias towards Sailor Moon is like part of the
Sure.
reason why I
Sure.
like this. So it's just like this is something that like was up my alley, so I was okay with it.
And
I know
it's
a lot.
also it's up hers as well from what we know
Mhm.
about her. So.
Yeah, like, and personally, like, yes, a lot, like, there was a consensus that a lot of people didn't like this, but but I liked it. Like, I didn't really mind it at all.
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best.
totally.
Yeah. God help us all. George is next in a fucking bra and panty that.
I think our origin story is back on, because when she came out, like, I didn't see anything wrong with it. When she came out, the same thing that we said for Bosco, like, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes if you just come out with a clean look, like, I think that's all you need to do in some situations. I thought this was fine. I didn't see any issue with it. Cuz she sells the looks though too. Like, Georges really sells them, I think.
Mhm.
And so I think that makes up for, if someone came in with like an equal outfit vibe, but then doesn't sell it as much as Georges does. I
Mhm.
think that helps Georges definitely get further.
My problem with this, like, although this is a good look, we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
There have been plenty of Victoria's Secret looks that have been done better, in my opinion. All I needed, honestly, I think, to push it over the top is I just needed the heart to be like triple the size.
Yes, I agree with that.
Honestly, all I needed. And I know that would have been very difficult to pack for Drag Race, but Courtney Act packed fucking wings for Drag Race.
And that was
so,
his own box. Fun fact.
Literally.
So
I just needed the heart to be bigger. It just, like, does she look good? Yes. I can't say she looks bad. I'm just tired of this.
Like, you were tired of Vanjie doing the same thing. How come you're not tired of Georges doing the same thing? Oh, right, Friggery.
Vanjie was a little bit less riggery, but whatever. Yeah. I'm glad Audrey likes it. Oh, God help us all. Jasmine Kennedy. Mama, this is garbage.
When she said that this was related to Hercules, I was just like, where? Like,
I saw it. I saw it.
I mean, like, if it, like, I wasn't sure. Like, I was just like, okay, now I see it, but I still couldn't see it at the same time. So I was just like,
purple fabric does not a Megora make. Like, that's the thing.
I keep so sorry. So sorry I keep going off camera. Literally, my dog, say hello to the world. She's like having a full breakdown. Like, she just like is not having it. She wants me to take her outside.
She can podcast with
so
us
bad.
whenever she wants.
No, honestly, I keep having to turn it off because I keep having to be like, no, get over here. Like, you don't need to go outside.
You're fine, honey. Don't worry about it. You're
but
good.
For Jasmine's look, I again, not to beat a dead horse, this is definitely not recreating the wheel, but it's also not exciting.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
our enemy origin story is back off.
Yes. It's just not exciting enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, this is fine. Yeah. It's just I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's the wig. I can tell you exactly what it is. It's the wig. And she even in her like talking head is like, this wig is everything, mama. You can't tell it's not a wig. I'm like, girl, I can tell it's a wig. The problem is, it's so interesting to me that on the show, at least, I think after the show, we've seen her sort of like step away from this very traditional pageant style of drag, which I think
it's the Blair
needs to
St.
be-
Clair of it all. The Blair St. Clair of it
Truly,
all.
honestly, Jasmine is having like a Blair St. Clair moment. I think the difficulty here is when you see pageant girls have this sort of like updo where it's like on the back of your head to start, they have that black spray that fills in and it really makes it like, I think of like Ginger Minge on season 7, Kennedy Davenport on season 7. Like you have the black spray that fills in so it doesn't look like you put half a wig on the back of your head.
Totally.
Which is exactly what Jasmine did. Like, I don't think the gown is anything special, but also you put a heart on the slit next to your vagine and you put a heart on your shoulder. That does not give me heart on. I'm sorry.
No.
It looks like she forgot to pack something for this runway, had a couple hearts and said, or someone else had a couple hearts. And they were like, this'll do. No.
Yeah. No, very
and
bad.
I love Jasmine also. I love Jasmine. This is just not it. So. Angeria, Paris, Van, Michaels, Dupree, Sinclair, Davenport, the third.
I like that she went for it. I think she really tried a different look outside of her maybe what she normally would go for based on
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Brandon, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. Okay. Well, I'll just oh no. Well, oh boy. Okay. I'll go ahead and give my critique while Audrey is like kind of in the middle. So here's the thing. I love Angie. I think Angie's beautiful. I think Angie's great. I think Angie's lovely. It looks like she also forgot to pack a look for this runway category and paper mache on and I love you. And Audrey's gone. Audrey will be back. But yeah, it looks like she didn't pack something for this runway and had to do something super last minute. I don't know if that's the case. It doesn't make sense for the runway.
I mean, literal heart on, but
yeah, but it doesn't make up for the fact that like none of it is. If it was white and red in this sort of like 60s mod, or if it's black and red or black and pink or something like that, I would have understood it. But the fact that this is just a 60s mod black and white with like something on the front of her body, it just didn't give me what it needed to give. There she is.
I am shook. I was like, what is happening? I just saw like the circles of death like over and over again.
No.
I was like, what is happening?
No, you're good, babe. It happens to the best of us. But we're just talking about how we don't like this look.
Yeah, it had so many elements that it just like could have been really, really cool.
Yeah.
But it just didn't come together, I don't think.
I said while you were dealing with your circles of death, I said it looked like she also didn't pack something for this runway and had to make something happen.
Yeah, totally.
So, again, I don't know that to be true, but I love Angie. I think she looks great. It just doesn't fit the category for me.
Yeah, like again, literal heart on, but didn't do it for me.
Very that. Oh, God, help us all. We have to talk about Carrie Colby's look.
I had high hopes for this, if I'll be honest.
I don't know where to begin. The exposed nude fishnet or the fact that the heart is on the wrong side of her chest.
that part.
I will say I love dark lipstick.
Yes.
And so for me, I didn't notice uh they're not stockings. They're
Fishnets.
well, I guess tights. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that until Michelle said
Oh,
something
no.
because I was I
Yeah,
was just
it's
like I just love the dark lipstick so much that I think that I was just focusing on that. But
Yeah.
then once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, so it's a nude fishnet over probably another pair of tights. Actually,
Yeah.
no, it's probably not another pair of tights because she's a woman. But yeah, it's like a nude fishnet over to like sort of kind of conceal the panty. I honestly don't even think it was needed.
Yeah.
I think I saw this on the pit stop or another review. I would have loved if it was just a red mesh bodysuit under this, because I understand that the point of the gown was to look like arteries. And so like I understand that, and I really like the concept of it. The execution was just at like 40%.
Totally.
And I also don't think she looks particularly great. Like the makeup doesn't look particularly great. When you zoom in on her face, the lipstick is kind of like, though I like a dark lip on her, it doesn't like, it was kind of like flaking at the side or like whatever the like shape of lip she went for that day. Just
it is
didn't
hard with
fit.
dark lipstick. It's so oh yeah.
But yeah, like Brandon said, I had high hopes. I think Brandon's just sad. Brandon, do we need to move on? Do you just want to be done with it?
You're muted.
You're muted, babe.
Sorry, I had to mute because a lot of things. I just got a text
that's-
from something, so I just had to like.
Oh, good. Okay,
deal
well, we'll
with
move
that.
on.
So we can move on.
To Ladycam then. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel here. However, I thought this was fine. I just needed the heart to either be half the size it was or double the size it was.
Yeah. And it's too, I don't know. It's like, I thought this one was costumey.
It rode the line very heavily. Like
Yeah.
it was on the line.
Yeah, totally.
If I had to pick a favorite outfit, this would have been my favorite outfit this week.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yes, I love Deja's, I love Daya's. Who else did we talk about that we actually liked? Willow and Bosco. But this
Bosco, yeah.
This to me, I think, was my favorite because the pierced heart concept I really liked.
Sure.
So, like this runway overall was meh. But if I had to pick a favorite, this would have been my favorite.
I just wish the heart had been cartoonishly big. Like to the point where it doesn't even matter what else is on her chest. It's just heart. Or if it had been like extended off the body, like literally cartoon style. Like that would have been kind of cute too. But yeah, I thought it was perfectly lovely. She looks beautiful.
I was gonna say her face, her makeup, the hair, it looks so good this week, I think.
Yeah. So that's the runway. We did it. We go to critiques and we find out that Bosco, Willow, and Georges are safe. No. Just no. No. We find out that Daya Betty, Deja Skye, and Angeria Paris Van Michaels are in the top with Jasmine, Carrie, and Ladycam in the bottom. Also, no.
Another questionable week of critiques because, like we said earlier, like we thought Carrie did fine, but the fact that she was bottom, I was just like, hello.
Not all of the choices for me. My top 3 probably would have been Bosco, Daya, and Angie. Just because, like we talked about, I thought Willow's energy was just a little bit off. But I could have justified putting Willow in the top as well and just making the whole Shangri-La's the top 3.
If it were done by groups, I would have Shangri-La's would have been
and
top.
I think it should have been, honestly.
Yes.
As much as I love Angie and I thought she did a great job, I really feel like this was the challenge to judge by teams.
Yes.
Because I also was kind of confused as to why Deja was in the top. A little bit. I thought she did a perfectly lovely job, and I thought her runway was perfectly lovely, but I didn't think she did anything outrageously amazing to justify being in the top.
It might have probably fit the narrative of the fact that Deja hasn't been like in the top yet to finally give her a top.
I think she's been in the top once.
I can't remember.
I have the track record up. I can actually look.
Okay, yeah. Look it up real quick because I have
it up. I can look it up.
This
Do
season
you guys
is
think
gone.
that because this is kind of like what I was saying at the beginning of the people, like when do you think that they realize that they're not going to win? Because I think it's like very much at the point of the producers are aware of who they think or who they know, I mean, at this point, are going to be in the final 4, at least how they're editing it to us. And so I think from here until final 4, it really is just kind of like a throwing to the walls of like what's going to like get us talking more elimination order wise.
100%.
Like I think it's just like, because when you think of like the critiques don't make sense, it's just I just don't think that the producers care.
Again, it goes back to the fact that this is a reality show now, not a reality competition show.
Totally.
So to answer your question, Brandon, Deja was in the top as well for the super teasers.
Oh yeah, okay.
But that's the only time Deja's track record is bottom 2, safe, high, safe, low, safe, high.
Oh wow.
Like she's just got the like she's going, but it's very consistent, so next week she'll be safe.
Eliminated.
Maybe who knows what'll happen. Again, I have the theory saved at the very end, but again, it's if this week it should have been based on teams.
Yes.
Shangri-La's like being all top, the Rupremes as safe, and the Roonettes as bottom.
In my opinion and in Brandon's opinion. Not in Audrey's opinion, because Audrey has different opinions, which we love to see here at the company. We love when things
I don't
are
think
not...
I know I don't think I know who I would have put in the bottom, though, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the challenge just didn't excite me.
Sure.
I wasn't...
No, totally.
It
That's
just...
fair.
Yeah.
But we do get critiques, this, that, and the third. We find out that the winner of this week's Maxi Challenge is Miss Daya Betty, which I think was valid. I thought she did a great job in the challenge. I remembered her challenge performance. She also had the line where it was like, wait, just kidding, I forgot my glasses. I thought that was so funny.
I love that line.
I was like, this is so stupid and funny. But yeah, I think the win could have gone to anyone in the Shangri-La's or Angeria. And I would have been fine. But I think it's a well-deserved, lovely win for Miss Daya Betty.
Totally.
And in the same breath, we find out that the bottom 2 are Jasmine Kennedy and Carrie Colby. This was done for storyline.
Totally. Of
Happily.
course. Because I think, I don't know. I can see Carrie making sense only because of her runway. I don't think that because of the challenge. I can definitely see because of the runway. And then I guess Jasmine didn't do bad, but then she also didn't do above and beyond.
Well, and Rue even says it on the runway. He's like, you did good, but you're just in a group of people where everybody did good.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, I think if you combine challenge performance and runway, I think Jasmine was the weakest this week. For me, I hate to keep harping on Georges, but I do think Georges should have been in the bottom with Jasmine.
I agree with that.
Just because I thought her performance wasn't as strong. I thought Carrie's performance was stronger than Georges's. And though Georges had a better runway, but then again, when do we ever see Drag Race judging like 50-50 on challenge and runway, which I feel like is what happened here.
Yeah.
Because they just absolutely loved Georges's runway from what we saw. So
which one do you guys think goes more? Like, do you think, I mean, obviously we've been talking this entire episode about how it's really just storyline, like producers.
100%.
But do you guys think that they or do y'all? I've noticed I say guys so much. Do y'all think that
it's fine? That's fine.
I'm like, why am I so gendered? But do y'all think that that Drag Race does lean more towards the challenge or more towards runways?
I think it's very dependent on what franchise you're watching.
Yes, because in the past, in US specifically, we have seen that challenge did overtake runway in certain cases. Season 11 with Snatch Game, specifically.
Yeah.
I think for the most part in the US, I would say it's probably 75-25 challenge to runway. Whereas if you look at a franchise, I think the one that I notice it in the most is actually Canada. Because it seems like Canada judges things 50-50. And I think specifically to the Screech acting challenge from Canada season 2, where Adriana gets the win. When I think she was perfectly lovely in the challenge, but had one of the best runways of the season.
Yeah.
So I think Canada, I think it does 50-50. It seems like any franchise that's not judged by RuPaul kind of does it either 50-50 or close to 50-50. I don't think there's an exact margin, but I think like they pick, for the most part, they pick the bottom 3 performers in the challenge, and then whoever has the best runway look. If it's even, then the runway is kind of like the tiebreaker almost.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that the runway is what can save someone if it's like neck and neck challenge based,
or put you in the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we unfortunately do have Jasmine and Carrie in the bottom 2, and they are lip syncing to "Unbreak My Heart," the Soul Hex anthem vocal by Toni Braxton. And I thought this was the single strangest remix that they've ever had as a lip sync song. Honestly, just have them lip sync to the original version of "Unbreak My Heart." Like that
part.
Like, because that is one of my favorite songs of all time. I love Toni Braxton. I'm so happy that we're getting such a different group of like artists as lip sync songs this season. Like we've gotten Beyonce, we've gotten J-Lo again, which they've done very rarely. We now have Toni Braxton. We had Alicia Keys. Like it really, truly. I was gonna say,
is this the season? Yeah.
Yes. I was going to say, is this just the season of like predominantly Black women singing lip sync songs? Because if so, I'm here for it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I can't even think of any of the other lip sync songs. My Head and My Heart. Ava Max is cute. All
I'm saying
and then Queen is, and then Blondie. Yeah.
Is if they they never would. But if they ever had a Twice song in there, that's the only time that I'd be like, yes, I can definitely win this.
I think if they go K-pop, the only one they would ever do is I'm not a K-pop person, so don't like.
It would be Butter by BTS. That's the only thing that they would.
No, I was gonna say that one. I think it's a Blackpink song where it's like, "How you like that?" Like that's the only one that I think.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Is that a Blackpink song? Did I get that right?
It is Blackpink.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they would do BTS because BTS is such a boy band. Unless they did one of the BTS songs that has like a female vocalist.
Boy with Love, Halsey.
Oh, yes, that one. I'm not a K-pop person. Sorry. We might do a K-pop podcast here eventually.
Well, here's the
Who
thing. Like,
knows?
I'm more borderline than anything else because, like, I do listen to the mainstream K-pop
Mhm.
bands, BTS, Twice, Blackpink. Like, I'm not as like cultured, if I'll
As
say.
Audrey.
Mhm.
I'm so obsessed.
I mean, we'll see. Who knows? If y'all want to see a K-pop podcast, let us know. We'll do it. I'm on board. I won't be on it, but I sure as hell will produce it. But that's like my whole thing with this is like I will do whatever we want. Just tell me when you want it uploaded and I'll post it. Like that's honestly
Love
like
that.
where I'm at with the company more. But we kind of just fell on Drag Race and reality TV and Eurovision because that's what we like. So
Totally.
yeah, I thought this was this could have been a double elimination and I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, this lip sync was kind of a mess. Yeah, like you said, they could have done the original, but they needed a remix to hype it up because that's what lip syncs are supposed to be. Which I'm like, no. Like we've seen emotional lip syncs before, so why not do it again?
Taste. Again, we discussed taste, but like, if I had to pick a winner, I'm gonna be honest, I would have picked Carrie.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know who I would have picked between the two, but it's just I don't know. I could have seen it being a double, but I think that they probably want to see Jasmine's reaction to being up against
Absolutely.
Carrie and kind of like the fallout, and will this propel Jasmine or will this make Jasmine be right in the bottom and right behind Carrie come next week?
Which I kind of think is gonna be what happens, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Jasmine's next to go as much as I like Jasmine, but I don't really see anyone else breaking away from the pack in a negative way. But we have to give her flowers. We do lose icon, legend, and star Carrie Colby, and she does not have the golden ticket. It is chocolate once again. Even though Jasmine was pleading to every single god, goddess, and unknown deity in the
Myself
universe.
included, because I was hoping she got the golden ticket as well.
Me too.
I really thought it was going to be for Carrie this week. How they were like the music behind it, and then Jasmine in the back being like, "Please have the golden ticket. Please have the golden ticket." I was like, "It's going to happen."
I would have loved to see Carrie get the golden ticket. I just think, unfortunately, her storyline had kind of dried up a little bit. She didn't have any drama really with anybody. And also her track record wasn't all that great. I think my fears kind of came true in a sense. My fears at the start of the season where I thought like there are a lot of girls who are like very, very good at drag and just not great at Drag Race. Totally. And I don't necessarily think Carrie falls into that category. I just think she had kind of run her gamut, and she was also very much so in her head, which again is something she talks about in her Watch a Packin' with Michelle. She was like she kind of exemplifies the queens that like come on and always want to be 100% pretty 100% of the time, and she just couldn't break out of that. We see it happen practically every season at this point. But I love Carrie Colby. I have so much love for Carrie Colby. I was so happy when she was announced to be on this season. And honestly, I think give her a few years and I would love to see her on All Stars.
Incredible. She would be incredible, I think, on All Stars for sure.
I would really love that.
Yeah. So we do lose Miss Colby. It is a sad day. Looking to next week, we are doing DragCon panels about the multifaceted world of menses.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to this challenge. I hate these ones.
This is going to be interesting, and you're ready for my theory?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's hear the theory.
Okay, so we're down to 8 queens.
Yes.
Usually at 8 queens, at the absolute latest in the US franchise, we would see Snatch Game by now.
Uh-huh.
Right.
This is where I think the golden ticket will finally come out.
Ooh, okay.
So, like, we'll we'll see someone do really bad, and it's just like someone that we really enjoy, or rigged, and
Mhm.
they have the golden ticket, and then the following week we'll finally get Snatch Game.
I'll
So
one up you for the theories. I think my theory with the golden ticket is they're going to have a double elimination episode. And then that's when the golden ticket will appear, because one girl from the double elimination will have the golden ticket, and then the other is going to have to
The
sashay away. Could you
gag.
imagine?
I
Could you
would love
imagine?
that.
I
Oh my
actually want to
God.
see that now. Wait.
Literally, could you imagine?
I would like to see it.
Just the tears
Oh my
from the girl who didn't
God.
have it. God.
Another
I'm
drama.
gonna one up your theory even more. No, I don't have anything. I think the golden ticket is never gonna be used. I don't know.
Possibly.
Who fucking
Yeah.
knows anymore? I'm honestly most excited about the fact that the queen of my universe, Nicole Byer, is a guest judge next week.
I'm ready.
I
I'm
love her
ready.
so much.
I am
love
ready
Nicole
for her
Byer
to
so
become
much.
a permanent judge. I honestly,
For
I want,
real.
if you're gonna have Ross and Carson still, I want a cycle of Ross, Carson, T.S. Madison, and Nicole Byer.
That part, yes.
Please,
As much as I
please.
love Lonnie Love, bring Lonnie Love back every once in a while because I love her. But
Well,
that
Lonnie can
is
stay the guest judge. She can stay the one, like someone
exactly.
who
Imagine Nicole Byer and Lonnie Love coaching you on a
just so
roast.
good.
Like, could you
So good.
imagine? Could you
So good.
imagine? That would be so good. But nevertheless, that is what we think about RuPaul's Best Friends, Make Him Laugh, Southern Hospitality, Rigged for Somebody race, season 14, episode 8. But what do y'all think? Let us know in the comments below. Follow all of us on the Twitter. Follow us on all of the things. Go check out Brandon on Twitch because he's amazing and wonderful. Audrey will be around more often because in case you missed it, Audrey is now a co-host. So
I was here so much they had to give me a title.
Very that, honestly, very that. And I'm out of rosé, so I need to go grab more. So with that, cheers to you all. Do we all have a cup? I don't know. Yes, cheers. Goodbye. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.